The moment you go silent, they lose control. Why toxic people panic when you go silent? The moment you go silent, they lose control. Psychology explains that toxic people are not disturbed by conflict. They are disturbed by emotional withdrawal. As long as you react, explain, defend, or engage, the connection remains alive. Silence changes that instantly. Toxic people rely on emotional feedback to regulate their sense of power. Your reactions tell them where they stand. Your silence removes that reference point. And uncertainty creates panic. When you stop responding, they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know if you're angry, healed, detached, or completely done. That loss of access is deeply unsettling. Psychologically, silence breaks the emotional loop. Conflict keeps people connected. Silence ends participation. Toxic dynamics survive through attention. Even negative attention still feeds control. When you go silent, you stop feeding the system. This is why silence often triggers sudden behavior changes, unexpected messages, attempts to provoke reactions, or a sudden concern that never existed before. Not because they changed, but because they feel the power slipping. Psychology shows that people who depend on emotional dominance feel threatened when they can no longer influence your inner state. Your silence tells them something powerful. You no longer affect me the way you used to. That realization creates panic. Toxic people often confuse forgiveness with access. They expect reconciliation, conversation, or explanation. When forgiveness happens quietly without reconnection, it disrupts their expectations. They don't get closure on their terms. Silence forces them to sit with their own thoughts, something many toxic personalities avoid. Without your reactions, they are left alone with themselves. And that's uncomfortable. Silence also removes their ability to control the narrative. They can no longer argue, justify, or reshape the story through your responses. Your absence ends the debate. Psychologically, this is a power shift through disengagement. You didn't win an argument. You ended the game. That's why silence feels threatening. It doesn't attack. It doesn't accuse. It doesn't explain. It simply withdraws. And withdrawal removes influence. Many people think silence is passive. In reality, it's one of the most active boundaries you can set. It communicates emotional completion. You've processed what happened without their involvement. That level of independence exposes emotional dependency in others. Toxic people panic because silence shows they needed your reactions more than you needed their presence. Your calm absence reveals the imbalance. This doesn't mean silence is used to punish. It means you chose self-regulation over emotional labor. Psychology calls this emotional autonomy, the ability to stabilize yourself without external validation. When you go silent, you are no longer available to be triggered. And when triggers disappear, control collapses. This is why silence often leads to escalation attempts. Not because you owe them anything, but because they're trying to regain access. But silence holds firm. It doesn't argue. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't explain boundaries. It enforces them. And over time, silence does something even more powerful. It restores your peace. You stop replaying conversations. You stop anticipating reactions. You stop managing someone else's emotions. Your nervous system finally relaxes. That calm is what toxic people feel. And fear. Because calm signals detachment, and detachment ends influence. So if your silence makes someone uncomfortable, anxious, or reactive, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you stepped out of a dynamic that required your emotional participation to survive. And when participation ends, so does their power.